Hi there, what's up, everybody? Time for another game here. We got the Red Sox and the Yankees again here in 1949. Yankees are a game behind Boston. Boston and Cleveland are tied for first place. Boston's got the 8-3 record. Yankees are 7-4. Ted Williams is up there 0-2 is the count on him as he faces Allie Reynolds. And there's a ball inside. 1-2 now the count. Now it's 2-2. And that one's fouled back. And there's one high to Williams. Full count on Ted, who's always got that good eye. He grounds one over to Henrik at first base, flips over to Reynolds covering for the first out, and here comes Vern Stevens. And Stevens hits one hard to left field, just foul, and that's where you always have to watch out about this Red Sox lineup. 1-1 now the count on Vern. Ground ball over to Phil Rizzuto. Scooter gets him over to first base for the second out. Here's Bobby Doerr. There's a strike to him, 0-1 the count, just like that, and it's 1-1 now. And there's one lifted foul, and that's out of play. 1-2 now on Doerr. And there's one foul to the right and out of play. 1-2 still. Another one foul back. Still 1-2 the count. That one's in the dirt. 2-2. And there's one hit to the alley in left field, and Cliff Mapes in left center field, I should say. Cliff Mapes not quite able to get to that one. That's a base hit, and the Red Sox have some sort of a threat here with 2 outs. Here comes Dom DiMaggio, who's hitting .477, who's leading the world in hitting so far here. April 30th is the day, 1949, and DiMaggio is going to be hitting definitely over 400 as April is done, as he has a full count on him now. And there's a grounder to the right side, and there's another base hit for Dom, and he's got a 12-game hitting streak, and that is the other DiMaggio, as you all know, as Joe is still injured. Here's Johnny Pesky now, runners on first and third. 2 outs here, top of the first inning. This Red Sox lineup is incredible, and there is the base hit, and that scores 1, as Cliff Mapes is unable to get to that one. And this is exactly what you were worried about if you're a Yankee fan, man. This Red Sox team, I'm telling you, this Red Sox team is just incredible. I haven't set everything up here, have I? This Red Sox team has been absolutely amazing so far in the early going of this season with its ability to score runs. Even in the one game that they were blown out against the Athletics, the Red Sox scored something like 7 or 8 runs. So, that gives you sort of an idea of what they're capable of doing. This team, the 1949 Red Sox and the 1950 Red Sox, are both teams that are just, absolutely prolific run scorers. If you play them with them in any game, you'll notice this. And here with 2 outs, the Red Sox get a number of consecutive hits. I think it was 3 in a row to get that 1 run. And there's a ball to Bertie Tebbetts, 1-0 the count on him. There's a chopper to Joe Coleman at second base, makes the throw over to first for the out, and that does that. We'll go to the bottom of the first, and here is Phil Rizzuto. And there's one high, 1-0 the count now on Scooter, and he chases and fouls one off. 1-1 now the count on him. That one's hit over to Stevens at short, and he makes the easy play to first for the out, 1 away, and here's Tommy Henrik. And 2 balls in him, 2-0 now the count on Tommy, and that one's popped up back behind the plate for a foul, 2-1 now. And that one's hit over to DiMaggio in center field, 2 away now, and here's Cliff Mapes. And that one's high, 1-0 the count on Cliff. And there's the strike to him, 1-1 now, and now it's 2-1. And 2-2, Mapes chased that one down in, and he hits one just by Doerr at second base, and Cliff Mapes, the blog and channel legend, is on first base once again. First hit of the game for the Yankees. Here's Gene Woodling, and there's a high strike to him. 0-1 now the count. Fouls one off, 0-2, and Woodling holds up on that one. 1-2 now the count on Gene. Attempt to move at first, another attempt to move at first base, and we're not going anywhere with Cliff. Not with 2 outs. There's one upstairs, 2-2 now the count on Woodling. And Woodling fouls one off, 2-2 still. And Staub's got him with that strike that Woodling took looking. And we go to the top of the second inning, 1-0 still Red Sox. It's Tommy O'Brien now, and the count on him is 1-1. 1-2 now as O'Brien swung over that fastball. 2-2 now the count on Tommy. And he swings and misses Allie Reynolds' pitch, and that's the first strikeout of the game for Reynolds. And here comes Billy Hitchcock. So once you get to the bottom of this Red Sox lineup, at least the way I have it set up, you have a big hole. Billy Hitchcock is a big 0.43 hole, and his average goes down as he hits that one over to Coleman at second, makes the play at first. Here's Chuck Staubs with an 0-2 count on him, and he fouls one off just to stay alive. And there's strike 3 on the outside corner, and that's the second strike of the game for Reynolds. And we go to the bottom of the second inning, and here's Jerry Coleman, hits a little pop-up over to Dewar at second base and makes the play, one away. And Ralph Hoek's up there next and hits one under the glove of Pesky at third base for what they're calling a base hit instead of an error. That brings up Hank Bauer. This Yankee lineup, I mentioned this before, this Yankee lineup is so good that Hank Bauer has to hit in the seventh position. I mean, that's how good this team is. He was hitting 8th for a little while, if I remember right. 1-0 the count on Hank, 2-0 now. And the pitch is in there for a ball. 3-0, we're going to have him take. And Bauer looks at ball 4 out away, and Chuck Stobbs is starting to lose it. The Yankees have runners on first and second with only 1 out here, bottom of the second inning. Up comes Bobby Brown. This is not the guy you want to have hitting there, unfortunately. And there's a ball to Brown, 1-0 now the count. There's ball 2 as that's high. And he takes one outside for ball 3, and we're going to have him take this pitch. And there's ball 4, foot inside. 2 walks in a row by Chuck Stobbs. Walks, the bases loaded. Here comes Allie Reynolds now with the bases loaded, only 1 out. We're not going to bunt, not with Ralph Hoek on at third base because he's too slow. And Reynolds doesn't really have that much bunting ability. Now, if we're really fastidious about lefty-righty splits, we're going to say, oh, look at this. Reynolds hit 118 against lefties and 295 against righties. We should pinch hit for them. Screw that. We're going to just we're going to hit with him. And there's ball number 9 in a row by Chuck Stobbs. And here's the next pitch. And he didn't go on that one. And there's another ball 2. We're going to have him take this one. And there's a fastball inside for ball 3. And we're going to have him take another pitch, and there's a strike by Stobbs. Finally stops the bleeding, and we take another one, and Stobbs has walked in the run. There's the tying run of this ball game here, bottom of the second inning, and it's now 1-1, and this has been pretty surprising. Stobbs not normally such a poor pitcher. I mean, he walked in 3 batters in a row, including the New York Yankees pitcher. And that brings up the top of the order, which means it's time for Phil Rizzuto with the bases loaded. Only 1 out. Now, we could bunt with Rizzuto if we wanted to, but we're not going to. And there's a ball inside again, and Stobbs can't find the plate. 1-0 now the count on Phil. And there's one lined out over short for a base hit. That scores 2. Reynolds goes to third. And it is 3-1 Yankees, and that's exactly what can happen in this one. I've talked a lot about the Red Sox and that potent offense, but don't count the Yankees out quite yet. This is a good Yankee team. There's a reason why in real life the 49 Yankees ended up winning the pennant. And as you can see here, they are definitely a class act. This is going to be a great season if you haven't been on board quite yet. Stick around. We got a lot of good things going. Here's Tommy Henrich, and Rizzuto's off to the races, and Henrich hits a 3-run homer, and that blows this game wide open. 6-0 now Yankees. And, man, this is turning into an absolute joke of a ball game. 6-1 Yankees just like that as Stobbs is unable to find the plate, and Henrich makes him pay. He hits the big 3-run homer after Rizzuto gets that base hit, and we still only have 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. And every time I think, oh, this is going to be a real close one, then something like this happens, huh? Here's Cliff Mapes now, and I can sort of relax a little bit, pay more attention to just playing through the game than trying to keep all the notes. 1-1 the count on Mapes. And there's a little ground ball over to Hitchcock at first base. He flips over to McCall for the out 2 away. Here's Gene Woodling. There's a strike to Woodling on the first pitch, and there's a fastball high. 1-1 the count now. There's a check swing at the plate. That's a ball. 2-1 now the count on Gene. And there's a line drive to right center, and that's a base hit for Woodling, just a single because Dom DiMaggio was over where he was supposed to be backing up. And here's Jerry Coleman, one of the few Yankees not to get a hit, and the Yankees batted around so far in the second inning. And there's a ground ball over to Stevens, who makes the long play over to first base, just barely nipping Coleman. He just about had a base hit. Here's Ted Williams, top of the third inning. 1-1 now the count on Williams. And Williams swings and misses on that one. 1-2 now is the count on him. And there's another foul ball. And he holds up on that one on the check swing 2-2. And there's a line drive base hit over that drops in front of Woodling in left field. And that brings up Vern Stevens, and here come the Red Sox. Don't count them out quite yet. There's a strike to Stevens, 0-1 now the count. There's a little pop-up that Coleman grabs right behind the bag at second base, almost in the center field for the first out. Here's Bobby Dewar. Runner on first base, 1 out, and he takes a ball, 1-0 the count. And there's a slider wide, 2 balls and no strikes, 2-0 the count. And it's 3-0 as Reynolds misses with that one. And he drops that curveball in there nicely, 3-1 now the count. And there's a strike, too, as Doerr backs out of the way looking for the walk, and instead it's a full count. And there's a bounce to the second base, and it's Jerry Coleman who grabs that one unassisted and then flips over to Henrik at first for the double play. And we go to the bottom of the third inning, 6-1 Yankees. Ralph Hoke up there fouls one off and fouls another one off the left-hand side, 0-2. 1-2 now the count on him. And there's one out of play. Another one fouled back. And there's a ground ball to the left side, and Pesky has it, but that's going to be an infield hit for Ralph, and that's his second hit of the game, 2 for 2 today. And here comes Hank Bauer, who walked last time up, and he looks at 2 straight balls. And, man, then he drives that one down the left field line, goes with the pitch and knocks it out of here for a home run, a 2-run homer for Hank Bauer. And that's his 4th home run of the year. It's 8-1 Yankees, and this is turning into laughter all of a sudden. Bobby Brown up there now with an 0-2 count and him, nobody out. 8-1 Yankees, bottom of the third inning. And there's a little foul ball over to Hitchcock behind first base. He makes the play, 1 away. Here comes Allie Reynolds. Fouls one off, 0-1 the count on him. The Red Sox have to be careful on this one as Reynolds knocks a double over Williams' head into left field. And, man, everyone in the Yankees is hitting today. I was going to say Boston has to be careful because I took a look as I was choosing the starting pitchers of this game, and they don't exactly have a great-looking bullpen at the moment. They're all tired because they keep giving up runs. 1-0 now the count on Phil Rizzuto, and there's a wild pitch that moves Reynolds up to third. And the only reason why Wendy McCall is still in there is because there's nobody to come in for him. 2-0 now the count on Rizzuto with Reynolds on a third. And it's 2-1 as Rizzuto fouls one back. And there's ball 3 high. We're going to take this pitch, and there's ball 4. He had the take sign, and now they're going to have to put Ellis Kinder in there. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. I mean, I guess there are a couple of guys. They can always use like Jack Kramer. There are a couple of different guys that they can put in here. But this bullpen is looking a little bit sad for Boston, and they need to get more of these, complete game type performances or almost complete games, and fewer of these go less than 2 innings, and then we have to go to the pen. This one's not going to treat the Red Sox bullpen kindly. And compounding this problem is Tommy Henrik takes a strike, as you know, is the way that Diamond Mine Baseball uses pitchers. And so once Diamond Mine figures out that this is a blowout, then all bets are off, and we might see every pitcher in this game. We're going to have Reynolds go for home, even though this is a double play. And it is a double play. It's a ground ball over to Stevens, who flips over to Doerr for 1, and then back to Hitchcock at first for the double play. And that inning is over. Still 8-1 Yankees, though. And here's Dom DiMaggio. He's 1 for 1 so far today, 8 for 19 against Yankee pitching. And he fouls one off to the right, 0-2 is the count on Dom. There's one high, 1-2. And there's a ball low, 2-2 now the count. And that one just missed. Full count. Allie Reynolds having some problems. That one's fouled off, and there's strike 3 called, and that's strikeout number 3 for Reynolds. So he gets the generous call on that one, and here comes Johnny Pesky. He takes the ball, 1-0 the count. There's ball 2, and the count now is 2-0. And there's ball 3, so some problems with Reynolds and his controls. He walks Pesky on 4 straight pitches. That brings up Bertie Tebbetts. And there's a slider for a strike, first pitch. There's a ground ball that goes through the infield for a base hit. Pesky goes over to third base with it. We're not going to worry too much about him, though, not with a 7-run lead. Tommy O'Brien now takes one high for a ball. And there's a ground ball over to Coleman at second base. And he makes the play over to first base. Tebbetts is able to run fast enough to avoid the double play. The run scores. It's 8-2 Yankees now. And here's Billy Hitchcock, takes the ball and swings at that one. 1-1 now the count on him. 1-2 now the count on Billy. And there's a ball, 2-2 now the count. He leans off a fastball, and there's another full count. Allie Reynolds has to be careful. And full count, and one is fouled off and back. And there's a double into the corner for Hitchcock, and that scores the run. It's 8-3 now, so we have to watch out. And here's Ellis Kinder. And he hits one to left field over to Woodling for the out, and that does it. Here's Cliff Mapes here at the bottom of the 4th inning, and boy, the Yankees could probably use a couple more runs. Mapes hits a fly ball over to DiMaggio in center field for the first out. Next is Gene Woodling. I've never seen this play before. He hits a pop-up near the mound, and Hitchcock runs after it, tries to grab it, and ends up dropping it, and that ends up allowing Woodling to reach first base. That was a pretty pathetic looking error, and that I'm going to call definitely a rare play. We're going to get a little screenshot of that here. Now, I've said this before. I'll say it again just in case you're curious. At the very end of this play-by-play, it says that Billy Hitchcock was hurt on that play and cannot continue. This is not coming from the Diamond Mine game engine. This is actually coming from the play-by-play. I don't honor these at all. The game engine will not force you to make a substitution afterwards. And if I were to honor this, I'd have to do it for both teams. I'm just not going to do that. We're not even going to go there. We're just going to ignore those, and we're going to go along. That's part of Jack Wood's most recent play-by-play update. Here's Gary Coleman takes a strike and another strike. 0-2 the count on Coleman. And he hits one over to the left field, over to Williams for the out. That's the second out. And here comes Ralph Hoke, who's 2 for 2, 2 hits today. Takes one outside, 1-0 the count. There's a liner right behind second base, and DiMaggio runs over and runs in and makes that catch. We go to the top of the fifth inning, still 8-3 now, Yankees. And Williams is up there, takes a ball, and another ball. That one up high and tight. And there's another one up high, 3-0 the count. I don't know. Do you really want to pitch Williams high? Takes a strike, 3-1. And he pulls an inside pitch to right field. Hank Bauer able to go back and get that one because it's an airport, as you know, over in that outfield. It's Vern Stevens now and takes a 2 straight strikes, 0-2 on him with 1 out. And there's one inside that backs him off the plate, 1-2 the count now. And that one misses, 2-2. And there's a foul back, still 2-2 is the count. And he skies one over to the right field where it hits the top of the dugout out of play, still 2-2. And Reynolds misses again. It's a full count on Vern. And that one's not even close. And that's the second walk given up so far by Reynolds. 11 walks given up so far in this season. And that's the problem, those bases on balls. 2 straight balls here on Doer. And Reynolds is coming close to 100 pitches. There's ball 3. And there's ball 4. And so Allie Reynolds is having the exact same problem that Stott had to start this game off. Here's Dom DiMaggio, who quickly has an 0-2 count on him. And then there's a ground ball off of the glove of Jerry Coleman into center field. And Mapes has it, and he's going to throw home, and it's safe at the plate, and it's 8-4 now. Still not time to worry, but worrying's going to start pretty soon. Here's Johnny Pesky, takes the ball, 1-0 the count, and there's a foul ball, 1-1 now. That one's in the dirt. Hoke makes the save, 2-1. Now 3-1 as Reynolds is falling apart again. And Hank Bauer slips and falls on that one, and that ends up being a triple. And it's 8-6 all of a sudden. And this is another one of these sort of rare plays that we don't commonly see. We have some problems here with the pitching, and it's 8-6. And all of a sudden, this has become an interesting game again. And this is what I was saying at the very beginning of this one, which is that you have to watch out for these Red Sox because they will score runs in bunches. There's only 1 out here. Top of the 5th inning, Reynolds has thrown over 100 pitches. We're going to leave him in, and we're actually just going to pitch to Bertie Tebbets. We'll worry about everything else when we have to. Ground ball over to Rizzuto. I'm actually going to throw to first base just to get the out there. That makes it 8-7. Tebbets makes the out at first base. 4 runs for the Red Sox here in the top of the 5th inning. And I thought this one was going to be a laughter early, and as we can clearly see, it is not, and you have to always be on guard in these games. And that brings up, with 2 outs now, O'Brien is back up there, one of the few players who hasn't gotten a hit yet in this one. Everybody hits today. 2-0 now the count on O'Brien. That's high for a ball, 3-0, and Reynolds throws a strike, 3-1 the count now. And there's one low, 4th walk of the day for Reynolds. I want to get him out of this inning. Billy Hitchcock up there now, the other guy, and he has a base hit today. And he hits one to shortstop that Rizzuto drops, and that's an error. And just like that, the Red Sox once again are ready to rumble, and they are threatening once again. And that brings up Ellis Kinder's spot. And the question is, do they pinch hit for Kinder or not? I'm still hoping to get out of this inning and at least have Reynolds throw 5 full innings because the Yankees also have a problem with their bullpen. As you can see, we don't have a whole ton of players here. Way too early for Joe Page. I mean, we could put in like Hiller. We could put in Spec Shea again that he pitched yesterday. We probably could and probably will put in Sanford. But, I mean, I would really, really prefer to stay with Allie Reynolds if I can. And Kinder's going to bat for himself. There's a strike to him, 0-1 the count. And there's a ball, 1-1 now the count on him, 1-2 now. And Ellis Kinder, of course, not a great hitter. And he hits one straight over to Hank Bauer. And that's the out. That's going to be the final out of this game, I think, for Allie Reynolds, whose spot comes up this inning. And so we've had a wild one so far as the Red Sox are able to come back. It is 8-7 now as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning, and yeah, this is one of those games. I didn't think this one was going to be close, not after the Yankees got that start, and now it's looking really close. Here's Hank Bauer with a 2-1 count on him, and that's in there for a strike. 2-2 now on Bauer. He fouls one off his foot, 2-2 still, and there's one inside, full count now. And that fastball gets by him for the strikeout, and that's the first out here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Ellis Kinder pitching fairly well. 0-1 the count on Bobby Brown. Now it's 1-1 on him. And there's a breaking ball inside, 2-1 the count. And there's one of the shoulders for ball 3. Bobby Brown then fouls one off, and he is a full count on him. Little ground ball over to Dora at second base, and he is thrown out at first. 2 outs now, and I'm trying to think, do I do this or not with the righty-lefty matchup? I guess I might as well. We're going to put Kyrhosi in, pinch hit for Allie Reynolds. Always pains me to take the pitcher out so early, and what does Kyrhosi do? He promptly gets a base hit on the first pitch, and the Yankees have a runner on first base now, 8-7 in this ball game. This is going to be a real tight one, and Phil Rizzuto hits a ground ball up the middle to Stevens, who grabs it going to his left, and there's no place for him to throw in what is undoubtedly another somewhat rare play. And man, this has been one of those games, hasn't it? I mean, I've seen a number of plays here so far in this one that I've never seen before in Diamond Baseball, and this is also one of them, where it's a total misplay by Doer, who went for the ball as well. Nobody covering the bag. That brings up Tommy Henrik with runners on first and second, but with 2 outs here in the bottom of the fifth inning. There's a changeup high, 1-0 the count, and he hits one deep to DiMaggio in right field, who makes the play, and that does it, and that quiets him down. So that is going to end up, we'll put that here with the rare plays instead. And we're going to put Sanford out there. We'll see what Frank Sanford can do for us. Top of the sixth inning, 8-7 Yankees. Here comes Ted Williams again, and there's a breaking ball in the dirt to him, ball 1, and he swings and misses. Now 1-1 the count on Ted, and there's one foul back, 1-2. And there's a breaking ball in there for strike 3, and Williams is upset with that, but not much you can do about that one. And it's not every day you see Williams take a called strike 3. 1-1 the count now on Vern Stevens, and Sanford misses outside. 2-1 the count. There's one high, 3-1. And Sanford misses, and there's a walk for Stevens with 1 out, and here comes Bobby Doer. There's a ground ball over to Rizzuto, and Rizzuto only has a play at first base. Stevens moves up to second base, and there's 2 outs now. Runner on second base for Dom DiMaggio. Fouls one down the left field line, just foul. And there's the line drive to shortstop past Phil Rizzuto, and Stevens is going for home, and the throw goes home, and that's an awful throw by Woodling. And DiMaggio ends up with the base hit and with the RBI, and it's an 8-8 ball game just like that. Dom DiMaggio today is 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs, and here we are in the top of the sixth inning at 8-8 after the Yankees at one point in time had an 8-1 lead. And what was I telling you about this Red Sox team? Oh man. I actually named this file wrong. There we go. And here is Johnny Pesky now with a runner on second base, and an opportunity here to drive in the go-ahead run. 1-1 now the count on Johnny. And there's a foul ball off the mask of Houck. 1-2 now the count. And he's popped up, and that one goes into the seats. And there's one high, 2-2 now the count. And there's a ground ball over to third base. Brown grabs it, throws over to first base for the out, and we go to the bottom of the sixth inning, and it's a 8-8 ball game, and here comes Cliff Mapes. There's a ball to him low, 1-0 the count on Mapes, 1-1 now as he takes a strike. There's a ground ball over to third base to Pesky, who bobbles it and still is able to make the play over to first base for the out, and that's the first out, and here comes Gene Woodling. There's a change up from Kinder, and there's a strike and a foul ball. 0-2 the count on Woodling. Still 0-2, and there's one inside. 1-2 now the count on him. And there's a off-speed pitch that's lined into left center field for a double. And here comes Jerry Coleman now. Still 1 out in this game, and there's a strike to Coleman, thinking, do we bunt or swing away? We'll swing away with Coleman, 0 for 3 today. 2-1 now the count on Jerry. 2-2 as he takes a strike. There's one wide, full count on him now, and that's one fouled off weakly. And there's one high. So now there's men on first and second now with only 1 out. That brings up Ralph Hoke. And, he's hitting so well so far in the season, 667 on the year. and on the game, by the way. We might as well leave him in. Let's see what happens. And there's a ground ball over to Doer on the right side. They make the play at first base for the out. That's a productive out, and that brings up Hank Bauer here. Bottom of the sixth inning, 8-8 ball game. Bauer already has a home run in this one, takes a strike, and there's a ball. 1-1 the count on him. Now it's 1-2, and Kinder's getting up there in the pitch count. 2-2 now. And Bauer swings and misses a pitch that bounced, and that is strike 3, and that ends the rally. Go to the top of the seventh inning, and here's Birdie Tebbetts against Fred Sanford. And there's a ball up high that How can even catch, and now there's a foul ball. 1-1 now the count. And there's a base hit over to left field, bounces in front, or drops in front of Woodling, rather, for the base hit. Tebbetts is on at first base. Here's Tommy O'Brien, runner on first. He looks to bunt and takes a ball instead. And he keeps his hands back on that one, and that's a base hit up the middle. And, man, I tell you, even O'Brien's getting a hit in this one. So everybody's got a hit here for Boston, with the exception of course, the pitcher, and then Vern Stevens, which is kind of interesting. I don't think you were expecting that to happen. And here the Red Sox are threatening again with nobody out here in the top of the seventh inning. And we have Hitchcock coming up. And you have to expect that the Red Sox are going to do some sort of play here with Billy Hitchcock, right? You've got to expect that they're going to probably bunt. We'll have the infield in. And there's a strike to him. He's not showing bunt at all, but I've got to expect that. Instead, there's a ground ball over to first base. Henrik makes the play over to Rizzuto at second base, and the throw back to first, unfortunately, is not in time. And that means that we have the Red Sox have runners on first and third here now with one out. And the question is, are they going to keep Kinder in this game, or are they going to bring in a pinch hitter? If I were them, I'd bring in a pinch hitter, but we'll see what this computer manager decides to do. This has been a much closer game than I was expecting, as I said. Given the way that this one started off, I thought for sure that this was going to be a blowout, and they keep Kinder in there. We have the infield to double play depth, and there's a strike to him, and there's one hanger, but against the pitcher, I don't think you have to worry too much about that. There's one on the outside corner, 1-2, and 2-2. Sanford having problems with his control, and man, have you ever seen this one? Kinder is awarded first base because Ralph Hoke interfered with his swing. And so the catcher's interference is called on the pitcher, Kinder. You got to wonder what's going on there. Yogi Berra is too tired to play in this game, and we do play it the right way, by the way. We're not going to break that rule. At least that's what the game engine has told us. That means that Ted Williams is up here now with the bases loaded and only one out because of that catcher interference call. We're going to have the infield in on the corners on him. And there's a 2-0 count on Williams. And that one's up high. A hanger, 3-0 the count. And there's a curveball that breaks in there for a strike. 3-1 now. High Harper to shortstop. Rizzuto to Coleman. On to Henrik. And that is the double play to get out of the inning. That is one of the most bizarre innings I think I've ever seen. The Red Sox, bottom of the Red Sox lineup is not exactly full of great players. When the great player does get up there, Williams, he hits into the double play. And you can bet that the Red Sox press is all over Ted for that one. Here's Bobby Brown now coming up, and he takes the ball 1-0 now. The count on Brown, 2-0 as Kinder misses again. There's a fat strike to Brown, 2-1 now. The count on him. There's a high hopper back up the middle. Stevens makes the play over to first base for the out. Here comes Sanford's spot. Unlike the computer manager, I'm not going to have Sanford hit for himself. We're going to put Nierhos in there to pinch hit. And that's off the play for a ball, 1-0, and there's a strike. 1-1 now. The count on Gus. And 1-2 now, as that one's out of play. And there's a swing, a liner down the left field line, just foul. And there's a ball to him, 2-2 now the count. There's one inside, and it's a full count. Kinder's starting to lose his stuff. There's a foul ball. And there's one low. Just as I said, Kinder's starting to have some problems, and that brings up Phil Rizzuto. And the Yankees have a chance here now in the bottom of the seventh inning to really break this game open if they want to. 8-8 is the ball game. We had a lot of offense to start this one off, and the offense has all gone away. It's actually not all gone away. We've had a lot of threats by both teams here, but we're not seeing a whole bunch of runs. Last run was in the top of the sixth. Ball 1 to Rizzuto, and there's a strike. 1-1 now the count with a runner on first base, and that one's hit softly into right field. O'Brien's there to make the play, and that's the second out. Here's Tommy Henrik. And there's a strike to him, 0-1 the count. And there's a fastball in there, 0-2. And there's one low, 1-2 the count now. And there's one hit over to center field, and DiMaggio just able to go over there and get it and make the play. And now what do we do? Let's see. It's we're looking at the top of the 8th inning. It is Joe Page time, so we're just going to put in Joe Page and not worry too much about it. Here comes Joe Page for his 3rd appearance of the season. And he's promptly greeted by Vern Stevens, who gets a base hit as soon as he comes in there. And that makes the score still 8-8. There's a runner on first base here at the top of the 8th inning. And I mean, we're going to go with our guy, whether he wins or loses. This is a key game, though. I know it's only April 30th, but if the Yankees are able to win this one, they end up tied for first place, and this is going to be one of those at least 2-horse races, and we'll see how the Indians do. 1-0 now the count on Doer, and he has a ground ball to Coleman, who makes a play at first base, but Stevens is able to move up to second. And I tell you, every one of these plays from here on out feels like it's got a lot of importance attached to it. That brings up Dom DiMaggio, and the question is, well, what do we do? Do we pitch to him and try to pitch to Johnny Pesky? Or I'm sorry, do we walk him and try to pitch to Pesky, or do we just pitch to him? And I think we pitch to him. I know that DiMaggio probably is more capable of driving in that run than Pesky. DiMaggio only has 2 RBIs so far today. Pesky is 3. Let's just pitch to Dom. Let's get this over with. 3 for 4 on the day. There's a foul ball by him, 0-1 the count. And there's one right down Broadway, 0-2. And there's a ball inside, 1-2 now the count on DiMaggio. 2-2 now as DiMaggio took a look at that one. And that one's fouled off, 2-2 still. And that swung on a missed for the second out. And that's a big strikeout by Joe Page. Oh, baby, that's a big one. And that means now there are 2 outs with Johnny Pesky coming up there. And this is an exciting game, isn't it? Man, oh, man. Let's see here. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Apologies as I do this. I'm just doing this for the sake of the blog. As you know, I'm trying to do 2 things at once, which is kind of ill-advised, but so it is. Here's Johnny Pesky, and he has a line drive over Hendrick's head at first base and gets the base hit and scores the run. I'm happy that we didn't walk DiMaggio, or that could have been 2 runs. Now it's 9-8 Red Sox. Man, these Red Sox, it doesn't matter what kind of lead you have on them. They come crawling back no matter what you do. 9-8, Johnny Pesky gets the base hit, scores the run. Here comes Bertie Tebbetts. 9-8, runner on first base, 2 outs here, top of the 8th inning, and they are pecking away at Joe Page, and the Yankees don't have much better in the bullpen than Page. 2-2 now the count on Bertie, and there's one lined over to Hank Bauer in right field. He makes the catch. A little bit too little, too late, though. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and here comes Cliff Mapes, and it's Tex Hugson who's going to be in there pitching for the Red Sox. Here comes Mapes, and he takes one in tight, 1-0 the count, 2-0 now as he takes another ball. That one's high, 3-0 now the count on Mapes, and he takes ball 4, and that is not what you want to see if you're the Red Sox. You walk that leadoff hitter, and that brings up Gene Woodling. And, I mean, this Yankees lineup is not exactly murderer's row, right? This isn't like the 27 Yankees where it's like, you put one guy on base and you're really in trouble. It's not quite as potent, I would say, as the Red Sox offense, but even still, you just don't want to do that. You don't want to give the Yankees a chance. We're going to hit and run with Woodling up there now. And that one's popped up and foul. Now we'll just swing away this time. 1-1 now the count on Woodling. And that's down and in, 2-1. We're going to hit and run again. And he tags one to deep left field, and unfortunately that one is caught by Williams. And that's not really what we wanted Gene to do. We wanted to get a base hit, not a line drive to the left fielder. And that's the first out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And up comes Jerry Coleman. So unfortunately for the Yankees, Woodling not quite able to get the job done. When you hit and run, what I want to see is a ground ball. I want to see that runner move up. And here comes Coleman. We'll have him just swing away here. And there's a sinker just off the plate. 1-0 the count now. And there's one for a strike. We'll see if we can steal here. Let's see if we can get one going. And Mapes gets the stolen base, and that puts him over there on second base with a 2-1 count now on Jerry Coleman. And we'll see now if we can get that base hit to drive him in. Remember, we have Ralph Hoke on deck as well, who's 2 for 4. Coleman's still looking for his first hit in this game, of course. And let's see here. Cliff Mapes, I tell you, Cliff Mapes has been a real star so far in this season for the Yankees. I mean, it makes you kind of forget about DiMaggio. And unfortunately, Forrest Coleman not only gets a ground ball, but he hits it to shortstop. And Vern Stevens makes the play at first base, and Mapes has to stay at second base instead of moving up to third. Jerry Coleman not able to get it done today, 0 for 4 in this game. And that brings up Ralph Hoke with runner on second base, down by 1, 9-8 Red Sox. And let's see if he can get a hold of one. There's a ball to him, 1-0 the count. And that one's raked down the left field line, and that one drops in front of Williams, and we are tied. We are tied in this ball game as Ralph Hoke is 3 for 5 today with the 2 runs. I want to take a real quick look at him for a second. In real life, he only had 7 at-bats, played only 5 games in the real season, so he's not going to be around for much longer. I don't know when he ends up getting injured, but we will play with him as long as he's around. We will make sure that he's given a chance. Ralph with that big base hit, and the game is tied at 9, and here comes Hank Bauer. Runner on first base, bottom of the 8th inning, 9-9 ball game, and that one's hit high to right field, and O'Brien has it for the out, and that's the third out. We go to the top of the 9th, and Joe Page comes back out there, and this game has lasted a little while, sort of like that first game we had on this channel. Here's Lou Stringer, the pinch hitter for the Red Sox. There's no 2 count on him. You'll remember that first game. That one lasted about 45 minutes. There's a ground ball to Coleman at second base, makes a play at first for the first out. Here's Billy Hitchcock. And there's a ball inside to him. 1-0 the count now on Billy. 2-0 now. And there's a ground ball to the right side and through for a base hit. Man, the last thing in the world you want to do is give up a base hit to Hitchcock. I mean, oh my gosh. Even Joe Page is giving these up. That's the 14th hit of the game for the Red Sox. Top of the 9th inning, 9-9 ball game. And this is one of those real legendary Yankees-Red Sox games. And, I mean, who knows what's going to happen here. Here comes Matt Batts, who is the catcher. Matt Batts, as you know, is my favorite of these Red Sox players. And there's a strike to start Matt Batts off. And he hits a pop-up over and out of play. 0-2 now the count on Batts. There's one tie, 1-2 now the count. And there's a fastball high and away, 2-2. That one looked good, but was called a ball. Full count now, and he hits one into foul territory. Full count remains. And Batts strikes out swinging, and Hitchcock, who was running on that play, is called out, attempting to steal. Strike him out, throw him out, and that does that. And Stan Spence now is going to play right field for the Red Sox. You probably don't care too much about that. What we care about is the fact that Batts ends up being sort of the GOAT here in his inability to get the bat on the ball. He strikes out, and they get the strike him out, throw him out, and we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 9-9 still, and here comes Bobby Brown. Takes the ball, 1-0 the count now on Bobby. There's a swing and a line drive over to center field. DiMaggio's got that one easily. We're not going to use our last catcher here. We're going to have Jack Phillips come up here and pinch hit for Joe Page. And that does mean the Yankees will have a problem here when we go to the 10th if we're not able to score. 1-1 now the count on Phillips, and that's belted down the left field line, and Williams goes long and deep for that when it takes it over his shoulder for the catch. Here's Phil Rizzuto. Rizzuto, not much of a home run threat. There's a swing and a miss. 1-1 now the count on Phil. And that's sharply hit over to Hitchcock at first base, and he flips over to the pitcher covering for the out. And who do we go for? Do we go for Shea? We go for Shea, I think. Yes, we will have Spec Shea pitch. Spec Shea pitched yesterday, too. No runs given up so far this season by him, and there's a ball to Ted Williams to start it off, and Williams then hits the next one out of the ballpark over to right field and over the head of Hank Bauer, and it is 10-9 Red Sox. And the Red Sox here in the top of the 10th inning look like they are going to complete the major comeback. And, man, I knew when we had the schedule for this day that this was one of the games I wanted to feature. I had no idea that it was going to be like this. I had absolutely no idea that it was going to be this sort of game where you had like a crazy comeback by the Red Sox, and it was 8-1 Yankees. Now it's 10-9 Red Sox in the top of the 9th inning. Spec Shea giving up the big home run, and there's a ball inside to Stevens, and a double then by Stevens, who knocks that one over the bag at third base. And the Red Sox have a chance here to really blow this game open. I did the best I could with my bullpen management. This is one of those things, by the way, where Diamond Mine Baseball kind of drives you nuts because you have to go to your bullpen because of the pitch count, because of the way the game works. And when you go to the bullpen too early, you run into a situation like this. 1-0 now the count on Doerr. 2-0, so he looked to bunt and then took that as the ball. Now it's 3-0, and Shea can't find the plate, and there's ball 4, and we're going to have to put in a different pitcher. I mean, this is ridiculous. And this game is about to get out of hand in a hurry if we don't do something quickly. So top of the 10th inning, runners on first and second as Spec Shea cannot find the plate. And it's 10-9 Red Sox after the big Teddy Williams home run. And boy, man, you don't say, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? Right now, I'm starting to sing, where did you go, Joe Page? Come back. Here's Frank Hiller taking the mound. The Yankees don't have enough pitchers here. And there's a ball in there to Dom DiMaggio. There's a ground ball over the bag of third base. That's a seeing eye job, and that's a double for DiMaggio, and that scores another one. It's 11-9 now, Red Sox. I tell you, Hiller was stepped off the mound, had a little talk with himself, went back onto the mound, decided on the pitch he was going to throw, and threw it in there, and it was exactly what DiMaggio was looking for. And, I mean, this is kind of the end of the line, really. We don't have really anybody else to come in for you, kids, so you got to try to get him out. And here's Johnny Pesky. And there's a foul ball by Pesky, 0-1 the count on him, 1-1 now. We're just going to have this infield back, just look for the third strike, or the third out if we can get it. We need to get the first out here, though. 3-1 now the count on Johnny Pesky. There's a pop-up, and it's Bobby Brown catching that one for the first out. And here comes Tex Huson, who is going to come out for a pinch hitter. Billy Goodman, the pinch hitter. There's a strike to Billy, 0-1 the count. And that's a ball, 1-1 now. And there's one hit over deep to right field. Not deep enough, though, to score the runner. And here comes Stan Spence. 2 outs now. 11-9 Red Sox. Runners on second and third. And Hiller maybe is going to be able to get out of this one. 3-0 now the count on Spence. And there's a strike to him, 3-1. And he lines that one over to Rizzuto, who spears it going the other way. And we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, or bottom of the 10th inning here. And here comes Tommy Henrich. 11-9 Red Sox. There's a ball to Henrich a mile outside as Earl Johnson's in there. 2-0 now is the count. That's in the dirt for ball 3, and we're going to have Henrich take. He looks at a strike up in the zone, 3-1 now. And Henrich takes ball 4, and Johnson needs to know that Henrich's somewhat important here. He's not the tying run, but you have to get somebody on base because a home run alone won't do it for you, and that brings up Cliff Mapes, our hero. And this game's not over yet. Don't go anywhere yet, folks. Fasten your seatbelts because this is a wild ride. This is a wild one. Cliff Mapes now, runner on first base. And that one's high and inside for a ball. 1-0 the count. Earl Johnson having a hard time finding the plate. There's a strike, 1-1. And there's a ball on that check swing. 2-1 now the count. And that one misses inside, 3-1. Mapes is going to be taking here 3-2, as that's called a strike. That probably was ball 4. That one sliced down the left field line, bounces in front of Ted Williams for a base hit. Runners are on the corners now with nobody out here. Bottom of the 10th inning, and up next is Gene Woodling. This is probably going to wind up being the longest game I have on this YouTube channel. This has been absolutely incredible. Bottom of the 10th inning, 11-9 Red Sox. And here comes Gene Woodling with nobody out, and he represents the potential winning run. We're going to have him swing away. There's strike 1 to him, 2 for 5 today for Woodling, and there's a high strike. Earl Johnson getting the benefit of that call. 0-2 now the count, and there's a 2-strike base hit from Woodling, and that one is with Dom DiMaggio, and we are going to play it safe here with Cliff Mapes instead of sending him. Woodling now 3 for 6, and that is going to prompt a pitching change. Jack Kramer is going to come in for the Red Sox. And, man, 11-10 now is the score as Woodling gets it done for the Yankees. 11-10 is the score. We've had 31 hits in this one. Is that all? Here comes Jerry Coleman, who's the only Yankee who hasn't hit yet. I think everyone hit. I think the Bat Boys hit. Actually, Brown hasn't had a base hit yet either. Kramer throws a ball to him, and that one's wide of first base into the hole into the right field for a base hit. And Mapes scores the tying run, and the question is, do we have Woodling try for third? No, we're going to play it safe here still. Jerry Coleman now has the 10-game hitting streak, And it is a tie ball game, 11-11, still with nobody out. And here comes Ralph Hoke, and Ralph Hoke has the chance to really be a hero in this one. Jerry Coleman gets it done here with that big base hit, and it is 11-11 as the Yankees come back, roaring back, that is, with 2 in the bottom of the 10th. Here's Ralph Hoke, and he takes a strike and takes a ball 1-1 now the count. And that's lifted out to left field, and it is in the park, and Williams grabs it, and we are not going to have Woodling run. We're going to have him stay. I was tempted to do it. Now, this is one of these other things that we can talk about. One of the problems with having systems in which the manager playing the game is able to make calls as to like who advances and who doesn't is that from time to time we can be a little bit too conservative with it, and I probably am a little bit too conservative here, trying not to have double play. Ralph just missed that one, though, man. If he hit that a little bit harder, a little bit further, that would have been a home run to win the ball game. And here's Hank Bauer. We don't need a home run, though. We need a base hit. 1-0 the count now on Hank, and it's 2-0. Kramer's having a hard time finding the plate, and that is a line drive base hit right in front of Joe DiMaggio, and it's just out of his reach. And Gene Woodling scores, and that does it. That is the ball game. And in the end, your final score is New York Yankees 12, Boston Red Sox 11. Yankees score 3 runs in the bottom of the 10th inning, and it's Hank Bauer who winds up being the hero of the game, getting the game-winning base hit. This was an incredible game. We had 17 hits for the Red Sox, 16 hits for the Yankees, 4 errors total in this one. Everything happened here in this one today. This is a 46-minute production. Apologies for the long length of this one. I hope you have a good day. Man, oh man, I think I probably need to go back and lie down after that one. I will talk to you tomorrow. We'll have another game for you then. See you later. Bye.